Yeah, no, that's good. And then hopefully we have some, because I would love to do some stealth influence.
Yeah.
Okay, so what he just talked about, we're going to put a pin on this because we're coming back to the certainty, clarity, and trust piece. But okay, we'll leave the LOL up here because that's funny. Okay, so what I am going to go over right now typically triggers people. And so I'm literally going to show you guys why a traditional funnel basically doesn't make sense for most of the people sitting in the room right now. Okay? So a traditional funnel has so many friction points, right? If you want to get clients, what do you need to do? If you want clients, what's the fastest way to get clients?
Market yourself.
Market yourself? It's not the fastest way. That's actually a pretty slow way.
Conversation.
Yes. Right? What would be quicker? Like if I'm standing outside this room, if I go into the library and do a Facebook ad, or just walk into the room and sell you guys something, what's easier? Right? As marketers, we overcomplicate this entire process, okay? So what's industry standard for cost per click? What would you say? What would you guess? For those of you guys who are running ads, what's your cost per click? That's not industry standard for a click. 89 cents is not industry standard for a cost per click. $2 to $10, yeah. So let's go on the low end, $2. Industry standard is usually $2 to $3, but we'll say $2. So if you're paying $2 a click, right, and you want to just test a funnel, we're talking about 1,000 clicks, right? So we're spending $2,000 to send 1,000 people to this landing page. What's industry standard for a landing page conversion? 20%, right? So automatically we go from 1,000 to 200 people who are giving us their name and email. That's what it means when people opt in, right? So let's say this is a VSL funnel, webinar funnel, any type of funnel really. So if we're running a VSL or webinar funnel, what is industry standard say that, what is the percentage of people that will press play on that video?
20%.
A little higher, 40%, okay? So 40% of people who have opted in are gonna push play. How many people are we left with people pressing play on that video? Yep, 80 people to push play, okay? How much do we pay to get these 80 people to push play on a video? Do I have to go any further for you guys to realize that that does not make sense for most of you guys who are sitting in the room? Who wants to spend $2,000 to get 80 people to click play on a video? Right? No one does, right? Like, and then industry standard, right? Another 10% will make it to the end. We're left with 8 people. 10% of the 8 people will hit an application. Guess what? That is 0. So you've spent $2,000 to get 8 people to finish a webinar, or 8 people to finish a VSL. And guess what? If you're running a low ticket offer funnel, this is even worse, right? Especially if you're paying, what's industry standard? How much do you pay for a customer for your funnel on typical with ads?
25.
25 for your $7 offer? Yep. So $25, which by the way is good. That's really good. So if she's spending $25 to acquire a $7 customer, what do you need? What does she need to make money on the back end of that funnel? Right? Because a slow funnel, right? They buy the low ticket thing, they buy the mid ticket thing, they buy the high ticket thing. What do you need in order to make money at the back of that funnel? Yes, nailed it. Volume. We need volume, right? If you're paying $25 to acquire a $7 customer and you want to properly test that, you probably want 100 buyers, right? So you're spending $2,500 to get 100 buyers, so you make $700, right? And that's not even guaranteed that someone's gonna make it all the way to the end of the funnel, right? This is why a lot of people, when they launch low ticket offers, they go upside down really quickly, because they don't have enough volume to actually get enough people to make it to the end of the funnel for it to be profitable, right? Okay, cool. So in my world, this is the last thing that we do in order to get clients. And we do this when we're trying to decrease volume. We're trying to create more friction, right? Because this is what I would say is like phase 3. And so what I'm actually going to go over is a way that you could actually get this in a short period of time, okay? Because what do we need to do in order to make high ticket sales?
Talk to people.
Talk to people. How many friction points are in this funnel?
A lot.
Right, yeah.
2.
Yeah, there's one here. 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 And then there's likely book a call, right? The call here. There's one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 friction points that you're putting in front of a person to buy. And what did we learn yesterday about sophisticated buyers? What do they not do typically?
They don't buy it.
They don't go through a funnel.
Oh, they go.
You just want to test your load.
Yes. So I was testing a couple of different agencies to do content creation for me because I'm stupid, and I was like, I shouldn't be doing my own content creation. That's fucking stupid, right? Like, but we as entrepreneurs, we get these ideas, oh, I'm just going to give it to someone else. And as I was reaching out to all of these content creators, what do you think they wanted me to do? They were like, yes, I need you to watch this video to see how our process works and then book a call. I'm like, I just want to fucking know how much it is. And I'm buy right now, right? And so a lot of you guys are actually creating so much friction when it comes down to just talking to your frickin' customer or your ideal client. You want to send people through a funnel, right? So this is why I don't recommend running these types of funnels when you need cash flow, okay? So what the heck should you do instead? Remember I told you guys I love drawing triangles, okay? What did we just learn by going through these numbers? If I want to make money and I don't have a big budget, what do I need in order to sell a high ticket? I'm going to keep saying the same thing. What do I need to do? Anthony? Okay. When I need the most volume of conversations, what do you think would be the easiest type of ad to put out there?
Ask me a question.
Mm-hmm. Probably an ad that goes straight to Messenger when you need the most volume, right? This is where my $5 ad strategy lives, right here, because it's the least resistant. There's least resistance and less friction, right? Because if people click on a Reels video or I'm giving away a freebie, they just have to click, right? Or do a comment and boom, we're in conversation. No friction. I'm immediately having a conversation, right? So this is where I often start my students with this type of funnel. Piece of content that says, hey, I've got this free thing. Do you need this free thing? Does it solve your problem? Yes, cool, conversation. I love calling this a fast funnel because that's what it is. You put a piece of content in front of someone, you say, hey, do I want this free thing? Now notice, I'm not saying, hey, opt in for this free thing. I'm taking them right into Messenger, right? Because what did you guys determine yesterday? What would you rather, a Messenger conversation or an email address? An email address and getting people to opt in creates what? Yes, and what do you need whenever you need to sell? Conversations. You want to do it with the least resistance possible, right? And then, but here's the thing, exactly. Because here's the thing, and I want you to think about this, because people are like, but Laurel, I want their email address. I want to market to them. I'm like, If you can't sell someone from a fucking conversation, what makes you think that you can write an email to sell people? Right? I mean, I'm being blunt, but it's the truth, and it just doesn't make sense. And so when you need the most volume, I'm like, let's just put offers in front of people, have conversations, and sell them. But so many people are like, that would never work. I still conduct my business like this. This is like the lifeblood of my business, okay? So once we're having 100 plus conversations with our ideal clients every single week, right? Not saying you're selling them, but once you're having the conversation, what have you now learned? What they want, what they're asking for, right? And if you're having 100 plus messenger conversations every single week, what do you probably want to add a little bit of to kind of pre-qualify people? Friction, right? So the next step, right? So this would be phase 1, right? So if you have my book, Super Duper Profitable Ads, phase 1, my entire book is written about phase 1. Because a lot of people are like, Laurel, you don't talk about funnels or offers or anything in your book. It's because my book is based off of phase 1, which is where most people need to start. So when we need to add a little bit of friction, we still want volume, right? And you guys have determined that if we talk to enough people, we will know exactly what they want. And so Mr. Joel Irway taught me a very simple script called a power offer that literally just says, hey, if you would like this thing, I can do this. Do you want it, right? So when we still need volume, right, because we still need volume, we do offer, add, straight to an application. Why am I going straight to an application?
Friction.
Yeah, I want to create as the least amount of friction as possible, but I still need a little bit of friction, right? Here, there's no friction. They click a link, they click the button, and then they talk to me in Messenger, 0 friction. Now what do they have to do? They have to fill out an application and wait for me to book a call with them, right? So now we've added a little bit of friction. And so here is where phase 2 of my program covers. Is when you still need volume, but you need a little less volume. And so when you're getting 5 to 10 calls a day, what do we want to do? Why do we want to add more friction? To reduce volume in order to create
Increase quality.
Yes, increase quality, right? So here, phase 3 is where you want to increase quality. This is where you launch that. Then, when you have the quality and you have the cash flow, what is the mecca of online advertising?
Self-liquidating.
A self-liquidating offer, which is a low ticket to mid ticket to high ticket funnel flow. The most expensive and hardest funnel to actually convert people. When you have no cash flow, do you think this would be the best funnel to launch? It depends. That's a trick question. It depends, right? So, how many of you guys know what my very first offer I created was? I know you already know. What was the very first offer I created? You already know.
To create ads to run someone's ads on a monthly basis?
Yes. Most people think the first offer I created was my $7 program. That was actually the very last thing I created. But here's the thing. And here's why I really love this model of having conversations with people, because I told you guys my story yesterday. How did I make my first $100,000?
The agency client.
But how did I market? How did I market to get those clients? Organic marketing, right? I went live every single day, giving away freebies and having conversations, okay? I started my business in April of 2018. I was selling an agency service. Then in August of 2018, I launched that $2,000 product that I was talking about yesterday that Nick helped me change into what Lean on Laurel is now. And then in November, I launched the $7 program. it was meant to actually be a Black Friday offer. I was gonna actually raise the price, and then I saw how many people came in, and I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna fuck this up, right? Even though people told me I was crazy, oh my God, I never forget that Black Friday, I was like the laughing joke in a whole bunch of coaching groups where people were screenshotting my offer, and they're like, this chick, they were using me as an example of what not to do, because they were like, this chick will never get anyone to pay her any amount of money because she's devaluing herself. Oh yeah, I never forget the guy's name who posted it in a coaching group of like over 200,000 people. Christina, didn't that guy like buy my $7 program 2 years ago? We actually laughed because we remembered his name. His name was Mike. I won't say his last name, but I never forget whenever, that was the most fulfilling thing. And whenever I saw him buy my $7 program, I was like, God damn. But whenever I first launched my $7 program, man, that was hard to see so many people making fun of me. And then it made me start doubting myself. That's why I had that guy, right? Because that's hard. You're like, shit, am I making the right decision? Nick was the first person to be like, that's fucking brilliant. Like, I don't think you should change anything, because if I probably would have taken the call with the person I was talking about a while ago, he probably would have brought me in a completely different direction. And the $7 program has obviously been like the best thing that has ever happened to my business, probably one of the best ideas I had. But I'm telling you guys this because I want you guys to hear the whole context of how I actually started the $7 program, because I think a lot of people think she's good at running ads, she filled it with ads. I did not. What do you guys think? As I was going through the process of filling my agency, what do you think I was having a lot of? Conversations. Conversations with who?
Ideal clients.
Ideal clients who?
Had money.
Who what?
Had money.
Yes, who had money, but more people who didn't have money, right? So I probably talked to thousands of people in Messenger. I mean, we're talking probably 2,000 people, right? That's a lot. But I mean, this is over several months, right? And remember, I'm hustling. I'm like, hell, I'm talking with a lot of people. I'm booking a lot of Zoom calls. Now, whenever I launched my next tier, right, which was this 45-day accelerator, what did I have?
People who could afford.
Thousands of people who couldn't afford. When I'm going to say this, you guys are going to laugh. My first agency was $500 a month. Now you couldn't pay me $10K a month to run anyone's ads. But I had a whole bunch of people sitting in Messenger who couldn't afford the $500 a month, but they could afford the $2,000, right? Once I launched the $2,000 thing, I was like, whoo, I've got a lot of people who can't afford these other two things. And I was like, what if I went back to all of my Facebook Lives and all of my cheat sheets that I've given away and put them in this ClickFunnels thing? That was my first platform I ever was on, was ClickFunnels. And I literally went back and messaged all of those people I'd ever talked to about the agency offer, the high ticket offer, and immediately had hundreds of people buying that $7 offer like that over a weekend. It was so funny. I never forget, we were actually golfing in Palm Springs. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and we're golfing, and my phone is going cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. My family's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I think that's sales. And we had sold several hundreds of people into this program like that. Do you get the lesson here? I did it the way no one said, like, that is a waste of time having all those conversations. What did I tell most of you guys yesterday? And most of you guys probably don't have a lead problem. They're all sitting there in your Messenger. They're all sitting there on your friends list. They're all sitting there on your email list. You just have to be willing to work them, and in a way that no one else is willing to do. How many of you guys would be surprised if you found out that I'm actually going back to this model right here? Add to Messenger conversation to sell my $7 program. Pretty surprising, right? Yeah. From someone who's making as much as I am a month, why would I do this? Yes, in Marie, rear view mirror. This was the easiest way to get quality people into my program, because what do ads bring in? I'm not talking to them before. I don't know if they're quality. I'm at a point now where we have a wait list, and so now I'm like, you know what? For quality insurance, I'm going to make sure that I'm talking to the right people. And so now I'm going back and optimizing this. And I know I kind of pulled back the curtain probably a little more than I needed to, but I want you guys to understand that my strategy is not built to be this sexy strategy that everyone else is promoting, but it is built to be a slow and steady growth, which is how most of us need to grow, because what happens when you grow too fast? Things break, and a lot of things break at the same time. And I'm just very fortunate that Nick has taught me all of the fundamentals that I needed to grow at a pace that was comfortable and not something that was going to break every single week, right? We still run our business, my wife and I. So, what's phase one? What's the purpose of phase one of my system?
Being on the invisible list.
Cash flow, yes, we're going to get there, but and what?
Least amount of friction.
Yes, I love that. What is
Conversation.
yes, volume of conversations. When should you execute phase one?
Every day.
Yes. I like that. And you know why Victor loves this strategy? You know who else loves this strategy? People who have call setters sitting in Messenger with a hungry sales team. Because what do sales teams love? Volume, right? Honestly, I think, Victor, probably your clients, and I know my most successful clients, they don't even ever go here because they love the volume that these two strategies bring them. I call this the discovery call accelerator, because they bring in the most amount of calls with the least amount of cash. Because guess what? These ads cost $5 a day. These ads cost $10 a day. These ads cost $1 gazillion a day. And so most people, like, I don't even recommend doing this until you're at 50, 60K a month. And even then, I still don't even do that. Yep.
Funny enough, just to further validate this, a lot of those people come from programs that started with phase 3, and they come to you or me, and they're like, we implement these two, and then they're just like, why did I even need that?
So remember yesterday I told you guys the story of Dr. Jerry, the chiropractor in San Angelo? An agency was making chiropractic clients do this.
Yeah.
Do you know how silly to me that sounds? Like sending people who are interested in going to a chiropractor to a VSL funnel? She does this. 2 to 3 walk-ins a day for $5 a day. It's crazy. Marketers will sell people on stupid stuff. They were paying $100 per application. For an application, not even a walk-in, an application, to get someone to come in to walk in. Talk about friction, right? Okay.
Hey, Laurel.
Yeah.
Was Dr. Jerry doing the 3 recommended recommended videos? The
Absolutely.
Gap? She was. Okay.
I will actually tell you exactly how she executed the ecosystem here whenever I go over, because that's where I'm moving into next, and I'll answer that question for you. Yep, absolutely. Because that is a really good one. Because a lot of people who are running brick and mortar, they're like, which part of the ecosystem do they run? I'm like, they run the whole thing. And so as we go through this next phase, I'll actually show you what the ecosystem looks like. Then we're going to break down each component of it. Okay? Absolutely.
So on the phase 1, the volume you're messing with, can you run ads for that?
Here's the box.
Oh, thank you. Can you run ads just for that phase 1? Just like very simple?
Yeah, that's actually explained in my book. Like that is, these are all, this is all ad strategy.
A long time ago, but
Yeah.
I didn't look at it.
Yeah, nope.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you're admitting that. Hey, you're like, oh, I never read the book.
We're talking about friction not being there.
friction not being there in phase one, but wonder if the people, the friction is them, they don't want to talk.
Absolutely. And so as we actually go through, God, these Kleenexes are really hard to. So as we go through the ecosystem, I'll actually show you the numbers and KPIs of what you should be looking for. So whenever you're talking about a Reels ad to a Messenger conversation, when you're talking about cold traffic, you can only expect about 40% of people to actually respond. But what do you think happens the longer you run my ecosystem?
Number goes up.
Number goes up. If I send a direct message to someone, do you think anyone ghosts me?
No,
Why?
because you have that recognition and we're seeing you nonstop.
Yep. But when I first started, a lot of people ignored me. Okay.
Laurel, when you do the ads, are you running them or messenger conversations from your page or from your personal profile?
From my business page.
Okay.
I always want to run ads to from my business page. So even though Facebook gives you the capability to run ads from a profile, it is very limited. You cannot retarget video views, you cannot do a lot of things. Here's how, I'll give you guys a little tip. So the very first time that we sold this Phoenix event, here's how I utilized ads on my personal profile. So the first time we announced the Phoenix event, I posted it on my profile, and I was like, hey, Nick and I are doing an event in Phoenix. Who wants first dibs on tickets, right? And I'm like, well, we'll get a couple of people to respond. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of people are like, I want to be there, I want to be there, I want to be there, I want to be there. And I was like, huh, that's real interesting. And so I was like, well, I want more people to see this. And so what I did was, instead of going to my business page and posting the same post, why did I not go to my business page and post the same post? Social proof, right? People were, so what I did was, when you have I want to say it's a creator profile, I don't even know, what is it, a creator profile? Okay, it gives you the ability to boost a post on your personal page. And so what I did was I went to something that I call the invisible list, right? And if you guys don't know what an invisible list is, that's fine, it's okay, we're gonna get to that. But basically, boosted it to all of my warm traffic on my personal profile.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then
So instead of,
conversations are from the page, not from the profile.
I do all my Messenger conversations honestly from my profile.
Okay.
Even whenever I'm running ads, I will respond to them
Okay.
with my personal profile versus the business page.
Got it.
Even though like it's both Laurel Portier, I like the personal connection and I add them as a friend.
Got it. Okay.
And you have less restrictions too.
Yeah, it's more personal too. I'm not answering as a business page, right? And I like having all my stuff in one messenger.
I
Yeah.
noticed recently, your ads have also just been going straight to YouTube.
Yep.
Is that a retargeting strategy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. My YouTube, I've noticed, and this is why it's important to pay attention to data. As a matter of fact, Nick is the one that pointed it out one day. He's like, are you paying attention to your YouTube? I'm like, I don't know, I just put all my power content there. And he's like, it's kind of growing. Should probably pay attention to it. And yeah, as soon as I started paying attention to it, I was like, holy crap, this is actually a really great avenue. And most of my high ticket clients now come from YouTube. Yeah. And so what I do is I run ads to YouTube videos. Now, you would think, because a lot of people see my ad running to the interview that Joel Irway did whenever he interviewed me, because he claims I helped him crack the code on low ticket ads. I'm like, Joel, all I did was retarget the audience. You weren't retargeting. I was like, you get most of the credit for that. He's like, but I wasn't doing it. So, but it's just a really great interview. And I had two people tell me, I thought you were complete bullshit until I saw that interview with you and Joel Irway, and I said, huh. I should probably do something with that. And so now I run ads to Joel's YouTube channel. Why would I do that? I don't care that I'm sending traffic to him. I'm sending traffic to the video that's getting me high ticket clients. But most people are like, why are you paying him? I'm like, dude, it's how, but I tell you guys this stuff because I want you guys to really understand how easy this is and how complicated we make it. I literally run a traffic campaign straight to a YouTube channel, straight to a YouTube video. That's it. No conversion campaigns, no nothing, just a traffic to my warm traffic. Yes. You should. I think I've interviewed you like twice now. You should be running traffic. And yeah, send them to my YouTube channel. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down what my ads ecosystem actually looks like, okay? Now, as I'm going through this, your brain, as Nick says, is going to open up a lot of loops. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. We're going to explain every single part of it. I just want you guys to see the layout of it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to send cold traffic to 2 places. The first place that most of you guys are running traffic to is where? To get people to buy your offer. Yeah, good. Right? Okay. So we've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Okay? Who can tell me what phase 1 is? Conversations, and we're going to use the fast funnel, right? Just one simple ad to, where does this go?
Messenger.
Yep. Okay, cool. Phase 2, right? If we want to create just a little bit of friction, what are we going to do? We're going to run an ad to application. Yes. Ad to application. And I'm going to make it easy. I just call this the power funnel. Okay. Power offer, straight to application. And then phase 3, which one is it?
Traditional.
Yeah, traditional VSL, whatever, right? Traditional ad to landing page to stuff, right? Okay. So, again, just to review, you're not going to run ads to all 3 of these funnels, right? Phases. If you're a complete newbie, which of these funnels are you going to use? 1. If you want to create a little bit of friction, then what are you going to do? 2. And then? 3. I don't think any of y'all should ever do 3, but that's just my opinion. But you can if you want to. Okay. Here's the biggest misconception that people have about my ad strategy. They think that my ad strategy, my ads ecosystem, replaces this. It does not replace that, right? People read my book and they're like, there's no funnel. Laurel says to not do funnels. My ads ecosystem, think about it this way. It makes a big L. So think about my ecosystem as a big L. It's built around a funnel. Why do I build an ecosystem around a funnel? What are we trying to do here? Plug the holes, but what did Nick just talk about? What are we wanting? What are we trying to create?
Magnetism.
A gravitational pull, right? And so we want to make sure that we are staying in front of our audience at the same time. So many businesses, brick and mortar especially, are so bad at following me around, right? So if I'm on Facebook and Christina says, hey, let's go out to eat, what do you feel like? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm in the mood for pizza. I'm always in the mood for pizza, right? And she's like, okay, cool, go look at all the pizza places in New Orleans. And honestly now, and this is something important for you guys to take note, is social media has become a search engine pretty much now. A lot of social platforms are actually switching to that because guess what? The first thing that I do is I don't go to Google. I go to Instagram and I'm like, Biloxi pizza places, right? And I come across a pizza place. And then Christina's like, you know what? I really don't want to eat pizza. I don't want to do carbs tonight. Let's go eat steak. Cool. I'm like, well, this pizza place looks really freaking good. I'm like, I should probably take note of that. 2 months later, Christina's like, hey, let's go try that pizza place. And I'm like, fuck, what was the name of that pizza place? And I'm back and I'm like, God, I can't find it. Like, I don't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. But if that pizza place would have just simply retargeted me for 2 months, I would have been like, oh, we're going there. But here's the thing. Most of you guys don't think of that shit because the Facebook Ads Manager won't tell you about those events that just happened. Because you'll be like, how do you measure conversions for a restaurant? How do you?
Yeah.
How do you? What would the conversion event be? They can't, like when I eat a pizza, the Facebook Manager doesn't know that.
Okay, yeah.
It's in the pizza, the pixel. The pixel. Yeah, you can't put the pixel in the pizza. How do you measure that?
Well, I would have a specific link that was clicked on that led to a coupon.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they came in with that coupon, I would know they came from the app.
Absolutely. That would be one way to track it.
Some people won't.
You can.
Right.
Some people won't use the coupon. It's not perfect, but it's a way to do that. I'm like Nick. I'm lazy and simple.
Just ask.
I'm like, if I run ads for a month and I've got 2 extra tables filled every single night, would that be a pretty lucky guess that my ads are working? Right? Yeah. I think people overcomplicate Facebook ads traffic, right? Remember, I told you guys the story how I worked in television. No car dealership ever walked into my cubicle and was like, I demand to know, someone came and bought a Lexus yesterday. I demand to know which of those TV commercials did it. Right? That sounds silly, but yeah, that's the pressure we put on the Facebook Ads Manager. As a matter of fact, how many of you guys have read my book? How many guys? Okay, cool. Not a lot of you guys. You guys should read it. There's a screenshot in there. I want to say it's September 21st of 2021, something like that. Business hit my first 7 figures. If you look at my return on ad spend, it tells a pretty interesting story. It says I got a 0.52 ROAS. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means?
Negative.
Yeah. It means for every dollar I'm spending, I only got
50 cents.
Yep, about 52 cents, right? I had spent $36,000 in ads, and what did I just tell you that was the day that my business did? So why did the Facebook Ads Manager tell me that I'm losing money with Facebook ads?
Based on what it could track.
Exactly. Because where did I tell you most of my conversions happen? In conversations. Those are that's the data that the Facebook Ads Manager, it will tell you like how many conversations and stuff, but here's what it doesn't account for, okay? So I had a student, actually I tell the story in the book. She came to me and she was like, I think I'm gonna turn off all my ads. I'm like, well, let's talk about that because I don't think that's a great idea. And she's like, I've been booking calls just organically. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, where did those people come from? And she's like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, you should go ask them, right? All of those people had watched her power content and had friended her. Her ads were working. She just wasn't looking, they just weren't showing up because she was booking the calls in Messenger. Facebook's attribution, it had happened months before, and so it wasn't going to credit a power content video with that booked call. But so often as business owners, like I guarantee if you're someone right now that ran ads and then turned them off, your business would be in a better position if you would have just left those ads on. I see this all the time, and it breaks my heart whenever I get clients and they're like, well, I ran about $60,000 in ads 2 years ago, and I'm like, fuck, all your pixel data is gone. All of your on-platform action is gone. We can't do anything with that, right? Because if you're talking about an on-platform action, meaning that if people are on the Facebook platform, whether they're having a messenger conversation with you, whether they're watching a video, anything that is done from your business page is being tracked on platform, and Facebook stores that data for 365 days. Now, here's the thing. I call that an invisible list. Why do I call it an invisible list?
Because you don't know the specific idea.
Because we don't know specifically names, emails, any data on these people other than that they took this action. So that's why we call it an invisible list versus a physical list. Okay? So, what do you think is very helpful to do in the case that, which by the way, we're having another pixel apocalypse. Have you guys heard the news? Google Chrome is about to follow suit with Apple, and I'm pretty sure pixels are not going to be a thing here pretty soon. I think they're just going to literally just, it's not going to be a thing. What do you think saved all of my agency clients when the iOS update happened a couple of years ago? And so many people lost their pixel data and had to literally stop their funnels from running. Yep. All of the video ads that I had been doing for them for years. As a matter of fact, one client in particular, When the iOS happened, what else happened? A lot of targeting options got taken away. Why? Because a lot of loss of data to where that data would not be able to support all of those targeted interests anymore. This particular client was in the infertility space. But because I was running video ads to those targeted infertility interests for years, what did I build up? An invisible list of her ideal clients who now no one else could do what? Yes. Competitive advantage, right? So here's the thing. Whenever I first started running the strategy that I'm about to walk you guys through, again, got made fun of. I lost agency clients. A lot of my clients would go to things like Funnel Hacking Live, and they would be like, that girl is wasting your money. Video views are not buyers. They're not anything. Like, gotta run conversion ads. My clients who stayed with me, and I did lose clients, honestly. My clients who stayed with me are very happy they stayed with me because their funnels just ran while they're like, yeah, my friend told me they had to shut down their entire funnel. She's like, I got to brag because mine's still running. And it's because of the strategy that I'm about to walk you guys through. And this is one of those things where it's not super sexy. It's not easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. You just have to stay consistent. I'll be honest, I am not the best at Facebook ads. I am not the 1,000th best at Facebook ads. But you know what I really am good at? What am I good at? Conversations, but what else? Consistency and stalking the shit out of all of you guys online. You guys probably can't even open a YouTube video without seeing my face. You probably can't even read a web article without seeing my face, right? Like Google display, like I am everywhere. TikTok, everywhere. I love, love, love staying in front of you guys. Now, one of the things that I want you guys to know too, metrics matter, but when it comes to staying in front of your audience, I don't really look at metrics. Like a lot of people are like, well, what are the KPIs for retargeting ads? I'm like, I don't even look at them, right? So let's say I see an ad for Michelle, and I'm like, oh, this woman's teaching about money. I mean, I don't know. I see books about profit first and all of this stuff all the time. I mean, whatever, you know, and I don't buy it, right? The next day, I see Michelle's face pop up in my news feed. I'm like, oh, she's doing a video on this strategy. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I just watch, you know, half the video. I don't think about it. I see another ad from Michelle. I don't click it at all. I just see her face for 2 months. And then I'm like, I see an ad for Path to Profits, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this. Which of those ads worked? Why? Exactly. And so a lot of you guys are like, Laurel, my retargeting ads are not, I'm like, they're working. You're just not in the way that you want them to work.
Can't see them in the metrics. Just can't see how they're working too.
Exactly. Like, yeah, because the metrics, right? Because here's the thing. I could see Michelle's face 20 times with, and I'm just scrolling, but it's just a constant reminder, oh yeah, oh yeah. But what is it also doing if I see Michelle all the time?
Proof.
Proof, yeah. She's probably doing pretty well. And she's probably someone I should listen to, right? Like so many people, they run an ad for like 2 weeks and then they disappear. People are watching for that now.
Yep.
Like there are so many people now that are finally coming to me because there's like, you're the only solution now because everyone else that I've bought an ad program from for years, I don't even know where they are. Because I just stalked you guys the longest, right? So it's the biggest takeaway, right? Huh?
That happens with organic too.
Yes.
You stop posting, people freaking notice.
100%.
And if you stop posting for 2 weeks, they notice.
100%. Yep. And organic, what did we learn about organic yesterday? What's organic? Free advertising.
Yep.
So you can't just look at paid ads, organic. You have to look at everything as the same. It's all content. It's all content. Ryan, throw him the box, please.
So when you're retargeting people, or you're sending people to YouTube and they watch and you retarget on YouTube, what type of a page are you sending them to since you can't really put them right into Messenger?
Say that one more time.
So you usually have a messenger ad on Facebook, but then you're
Well, not all my ads are messenger ads.
Right, but some traffic goes to YouTube. So what type of a page are you sending them to that's not a messenger ad?
Just a traffic campaign straight to YouTube.
And then when they're on YouTube and you're running more ads to them on YouTube, where does that go?
To more YouTube videos.
Oh, just more. You have no conversion, no website. It's just you're just warming them up.
Link in the description. I will say this, that was one of my most underutilized strategies, was the damn link in the description. Ever since that I've started posting links in the descriptions, and by the way, this was an immediate constraint for me, and I did not know how. I was like, how the hell do all these people have the same thing? I'm like, are they just posting the same link every time they upload a video? And so I was like, that's an immediate constraint, right? I'm like, how do I get this link to just anytime I upload a video to have the same thing? That was my most immediate constraint one day. It was actually a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm just gonna figure this shit out. Look, YouTube, boom, most immediate constraint gone. 2 applications for LOL.
Amazing.
Right? It's an example, most immediate constraint, and that's why it's important that every single day we're like, how do I do this one thing? How do I solve this one problem?
If you've done an ad to Messenger, how fast are people expecting a response? Or do you just use a bot to set it out? Or
Oh, I don't use a bot at all.
so,
We'll get into that though. We will get into that though, I promise. But honestly, the longer that you run this ecosystem, people don't give a shit if I get back to them 2 months. They're just happy that Laurel Portier just sent them a message because of this. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm just saying the reality of running this long term. I've been running this for over 5 years now. Like, people will value the fact that you just got back to them. Now, in the very beginning, you probably want to do it as often as you can because you need cash flow, you need conversations, but I'm at a point where people are just happy if I respond to them. Because a lot of experts, honestly, and I don't consider myself an expert, but a lot of gurus, they don't even respond to comments on ads. They won't respond to people in Messenger. I make sure that I do all of that. I might not do it in 24 hours, but I always do it. And people do notice. Because a lot of people will say on my ads, I can't believe you responded to me. And I'm like, that's such an easy thing to do. You know how many sales I get just by responding to a comment on my ads? Even the negative ones. Like, I actually turn negative comments into sales because when people call me a scammer, I just start loading up there and respond to them with all my testimonials from YouTube. Then what does that do?
Watch.
They watch them, and then what am I able to do on YouTube? Are you guys starting to understand the game?
Target the haters.
Right? Like, if literally everyone in this room simply just retargeted, you know how much more money you would make? By just retargeting. You know how easy it is to set up a retargeting ad? Super, super duper easy.
$2 a day.
$2 a day, yes. I know Joel Irway was really surprised that we could get so many sales with $2 a day by just retargeting the audience he already had sitting there. It's amazing. Okay, so what have we learned about my ecosystem? What does it do? Stalks everyone, and it is built around a funnel to do what? Ultimate goal. To sell an offer, right? Okay. So here's what the ecosystem looks like. So first place we're sending people is to a place to sell your offer, whether that's through Messenger, whether it's through an application, or whether it's through a sales page, it doesn't matter, right? Just know that you're going to use one of these. Over here, we're going to run some video view campaigns, and those video view campaigns are going to do what?
Get people to watch it.
Get people to watch them, to build our
Invisible list.
Okay. So I'm going to divert here because this is a really, really great way to help you guys understand why this works. Do you guys remember that triangle I did yesterday with the floor and the ceiling? And I walked you guys through how Facebook optimization works. So can everyone see this circle right here? Okay. Where are all of the marketers putting all of their attention to? Good, you guys are listening. 2 to 3%, right? So again, we'll just use Mr. Russell Brunson here. So this is all of his audience, right? All the internet marketers are trying to target here, right? What are they using in order to target those people? Conversion campaigns. What do we know about conversion campaigns? And what type of funnel are they using? Yes. Right here, right? So they're using that. If this is all of Russell Brunson's audience, and marketers are only targeting 2 to 3% with conversion ads, what do you guys notice about that scenario? Ignoring a majority of the audience that's interested in Russell Brunson. Now, what can I assume about Russell Brunson's audience?
No comment. They're one funnel away.
They're one funnel away. But you said an important thing, right? Funnel, right? We could assume that people who follow Russell Brunson have attempted to build a funnel, which if they have attempted to build a funnel, what do they need? Traffic. But what do we know about these people? They're not ready to buy. But does that mean they're not your ideal client? No. They're just not your ideal client?
Right now.
Okay, so 97 to 98% of people here, right? So what can we do to make these people ready to buy?
Help them.
What did Nick just talk about?
We use capital.
Yes, magnetic pull, right? So what can we do to this audience in order to position them in a place where they're ready to buy?
Give them content that is relevant to them.
Yes, and so that is what we do with these video ads right here. And so we're running it as an engagement campaign that's optimized for video views. What does that mean for our budget?
Low.
Cheap. We can reach our soon one day ideal clients for pennies on the dollar that most marketers are paying, right? And that's why a lot of marketers have to keep going broader and broader and broader, because they're trying to constantly chase that group of people in all of these different targeting options, right? Where we can actually have a competitive advantage and just put our content in front of these. But also, what did I teach you guys yesterday? How do we exploit an audience size of 1.2 million? What do we need to do?
Different ad angles.
Different ad angles. And so what do you think we're going to do to these?
Have a different angle.
That's a different angle every time.
Yep. And why do we want to have a different angle every time?
Because they might already know something, but when they see something else, they might not
Yep.
already.
It's solving a different problem. I'm going to ask you guys a little bit of an advanced question. What do you think, because each of these videos is solving a very specific problem, what are we able to do later? Retarget them based on
What their wants is.
And so when we create a value bomb, right, we can literally put it in front of the person who watched the video of the problem that they're trying to solve, right?
Well, can I jump in for just a second?
Yeah.
Because I want to highlight how powerful what she's saying is. Remember how we just talked about how people will never be honest about what they want? Mm-hmm. She's saying you put a value bomb in front of them that they want, but they never told you it was their behavior that caused them to raise their hand, and that's a really big distinction. So
Thank you for saying that.
that's the, yeah.
It's because it kind of has that same thing where people say what people don't vote with their voice, they vote with their credit card. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing. People aren't telling me what they want, their behavior, they don't know that I'm tracking. Well, some of them know, but some of them are like, they won't admit that they have this problem, but they'll watch videos because they know that no one can see them watching that video.
Yep.
They don't have to opt in.
They don't have to opt in or anything, right? They don't have to opt in to admit that they have a problem, right? So, cold traffic, we're sending it to two places. First place is a place to sell your offer. Sell your offer, right? And the second one is
Have conversations.
invisible list, yes. Okay. So these video ads, if you read my book, I call them power content. Okay? I call them power content because it's powerful content that allows me to retarget my people who have specific problems that I can solve. Now remember yesterday I made you guys do an exercise, walking people through your process. What do we want to make sure about these particular pieces of content? That they solve those process pieces, while also we want to attract our ideal clients, but also what do we want to do?
Lead them to the next problem.
Lead them to a bigger problem.
What?
Lead them to the next problem.
Nope, what do we want to do? Who do we not want to target? We want to repel. So these videos have to be attractive as they are repelling. So so Nick actually helped me fix a very, very important problem. It was a constraint. I'm like, Nick, I am talking to a whole bunch of people that I'm like, they are way beginners, and I'm like, LOL is just not that type of, like, they need to go to a $7 program. And he's like, well, what are you saying in your content? And I showed him a couple of pieces of content, and he's like, stop telling people you're going to help them launch their ads. Tell people you're going to help them fix their ads. That's an example of how to repel the people that are below your what? Your floor. That's why it's super important that you identify who are your most ideal clients and create content for them so that you can repel the other people. If you're having conversations with people who are not your ideal client, it's because you're not doing that. Okay? Okay. So we've got two traffic campaigns, not traffic. We've got two cold traffic campaigns. One is one of these, phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. The other one is going to 3 pieces of content, right? You could have 5, it doesn't matter. Anyone know? Anyone remember? I know Anna probably does. Why is there 3 pieces of power content? I read Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, and that's where I got 3 pieces of content, honestly. That's it. No rhyme or reason, because everyone's always like, but what if I have 5? I'm like, I was like, guys, like, just does it matter, right? It does not matter. You're just putting out content. If you have 5, awesome. Right now, I think I have 8 of them running. So, 3 pieces of power content. Okay, what do we know? What are we trying to do? Okay, we want people to watch 25% or more of one of these videos. Now, here's where brick and mortar, you guys have it easy. If you are a brick and mortar business, do you think you have to have a 3 to 5 minute video? Do I need to do a 3 to 5 minute video to convince someone to go to the chiropractor, go to the dentist? Why not? They already want to, like, they already know, right? You don't have to convince someone that they want a slice of pizza. So you can get away with 60-second videos, but however, I am so sorry, service-based business owners, online coaches, consultants, anything that is super complicated, you need to do a 3 to 5 minute video. Why? We need people to spend more time having clarity about what we do. And we're going to get back to that piece here in a minute. But we want to do 3 to 5 minute videos unless you're brick and mortar or e-commerce, right? You don't have to convince someone they need a potato gun, right? Okay. I'm glad you guys got
everybody
that.
knows we all need a potato gun.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna build something that I like to call a warm stack, which is just a fancy way to say people who are super warm. And the reason that I say 25% or more of these videos right here is because I really want to get the people who are super engaged. If you have a person who's only watched 10 seconds of your video, is that person truly engaged? They probably saw your video and was like, this is not for me, right? And so a lot of people ask me the question, why aren't we retargeting through plays, right, which are 15-second? I'm like, no. I want the people who are watching as close to a minute as possible because I know that those people are super, super engaged. I do not want to spend time retargeting people who are only watching a small percentage. But Alex Hormozi does 60-second reels. What does Alex Hormozi also say? I have nothing to sell you. So why are so many of you guys who are trying to sell an offer following a strategy that someone who doesn't have anything to sell you? I'll never get that. I will never get that. But
he's got a different goal too.
He does have a different goal. Absolutely, he has nothing to sell you. He's trying to get people into his acquisition.com, right? Very different than what most of you guys are trying to do. But here's the thing, I do find value in those 60-second Reels videos, and that is why I created the conversion multiplier strategy that goes along with this fast funnel, because I thought, people love those 60-second Reels and people do watch them. So I'm like, what if we just built in a conversation piece into those 60-second Reels videos? And so I decided to test this. Actually, the same client with the infertility offer. So back in 2022, I never forget, it was March, her webinar that we had been running for 2.5 years just stopped working completely. Her ads were the easiest to run because I didn't have to do shit for 2.5 years. Literally, her ads just worked. And then all of a sudden, market saturation, copycat offers, all of a sudden, she had way more competition. But also what happened, market sophistication happened where people just stopped freaking watching webinars. And so I was like, you know what? Everyone wants to do these 60-second videos, so I'm gonna try something. So what I did was, because what do I know? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. And this is why it's super important that you guys learn how to be critical thinkers in these types of scenarios, right? What do I know? So every single week, people were opting in to watch her webinar, but they weren't watching her webinar. Based on data, what do I know from just that sentence?
The text leading them to the video or to the webinar worked. That was attractive to them.
Yes, meaning they were interested in the topic, but they weren't watching the webinar. What if, hey, I love doing these cheat sheets. I told her assistant, I said, hey, can you turn this webinar content into a PDF? And I texted my client and I said, I need you to shoot this 60-second Reels video and we're gonna do this PDF and we're gonna give away this PDF. She's like, my webinar stuff? I'm like, yes. I was like, I'm just testing something. And because she's super cool, she always did everything I told her. Always, until the end. But you guys all know how that goes. People, like, we love sabotaging when things go right. We love sabotaging ourselves. That's just how it is. And so what I had her do was create that 60-second Reels video. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to run it to the people who had opted in here, giving away and had people comment to get people into a messenger conversation where her assistant, Hannah, was there. And I ran it for $5, right? Stay with me. I ran this for $5 to the people who had opted in to watch her webinar, right? Because those are the people that weren't going to the end. I literally, the next day, we had spent $6.22, and literally, she's like, I don't know what you need to do, but we need to turn something off because we have booked a lot of triage calls with $6, right? What did we just do here?
Removed a point of friction.
We removed friction and plugged a hole in her funnel. So this is what my ecosystem does, right? It plugged this hole right there, that one ad. So if we take the same concept and we have someone who hits a webinar landing page and they don't opt into the webinar, but they land on it, what do we know based on just that one sentence? They're interested, but maybe they didn't want to watch a 60-minute webinar. Maybe they didn't. Does that mean that they're not our ideal client? No. So what should we do? Give them an opportunity to become a lead, right? But maybe in a different way. Then what can we make these videos? Snack-sized versions of the webinar and feed them the content that they were interested in. Snackable content, that's what we called it at the list. Snackable videos. They were really just power content videos before I named them. Is this all starting to make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, we're just plugging holes, right? What hole did that plug? This one, right? Okay. So now we've got video ads here. We've got a 60-second Reels video plugging the leads. We also have the people who engage with our content and there's no way to move forward. And so I have another sequence right here. A lot of people call it the Hot 7. I honestly don't know who originated that name, have no idea. And we're just plugging the hole at the back of the funnel. But they call it the hot 7. Why do they call it the hot 7?
7 ads?
7 ads, but what do we know about that audience?
Warm. Very warm.
They're very warm, and we want to convert them to hot. That's why they call it the hot 7. They're strategically created content, case studies, testimonials, more educational content. What did I tell you guys a while ago about content in general?
It's all advertising.
It's all advertising. So you should do organic posts on your business page, on your YouTube channel, pretty much everywhere. And then all we're going to do is we're going to hit that little boost button. I know a lot of gurus say don't hit the boost button. We're going to strategically use it this time though. Because a lot of people, when they think hit the boost button, they think, oh, boost it to a cold audience. We're going to use it as a retargeting strategy so that our audience gets new pieces of content every single week from us. And that's how we stalk the hell out of them. Like most of the ads that you guys see from me, they're boosted posts. The only difference between a boosted post and an actual ad is boosted posts expire after 3 days. Well, you could set the expiration date on them. That's why I like them. So I have like 2 strategies, right? I've got the ones that are evergreen ads, and then this one changes every week. But then this is how I also test which ads do well, and then I could slip them. Like, so let's say I do a boosted post, and I get 2 inquiries for Lean on Laurel. What do you think I'm going to do? Move it to the hot 7, and probably hot 7 becomes hot 8. I've got about a hot 30 for my $7 program. But this is the ecosystem. Now, Nick taught something, 2 weeks ago, the Cash Now campaigns for the $7 group, and I was like, I really want to utilize that in my ecosystem because it's actually like a lot of the stuff that Nick and I do actually works so freaking well together. This is something I have not taught before. Actually, was just inspired by Nick last week. So he's going to teach you guys 2 Cash Now campaigns. One's called the Silver Bullet campaign, and one is called the Be Helpful campaign. Now, the difference between the 2 campaigns, the Silver Bullet campaign, is you want to figure out which leads are a good fit now. But you also want to know which of these leads are a good fit later. And so how many of you guys would love to know, out of all the people who you're having conversations with or people who are watching your videos, how would you guys like to know who's a good fit now and who's a good fit later? Yeah. Okay. Stay with me here, and then I'm going to have Nick come and teach the Cash Now campaigns, and it's all going to come together. I decided, I was like, you know what? This campaign should be the Silver Bullet campaign. Right? Because when you have messenger conversations with people, what are you able to do? Easily determine who's a good fit now and who's a good fit later. And so if you literally use the same structure of his Silver Bullet campaign, that is typically, I think, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, typically you send this through email, right? So
yeah, it was created
for email originally. Yeah.
But what we're going to do is we're going to utilize, because his strategy does have a lead magnet component to it. I'm like, why did I never see this before? I've been doing his Cash Now campaigns myself, and I never really saw it until last week. Like, I'm still learning from him every single week. And I was like, holy crap. Silver Bullet campaign, good fit now, good fit later, and then boom, not this one, here.
I heard voices, I was seeing who
these
was
people
chatting
get the
about that.
Be Helpful campaign. So that's what he's going to show you guys. And so this is going to be an easy way for us to be able to see, like, if you're getting leads from a VSL, if you're getting leads from this, if people are watching your 60-second Reels videos, if people are landing on your application, we're easily going to be able to intercept a conversation. That's what I like to say, intercept a conversation from someone you would otherwise not have a conversation with, and be able to bucket them into, these people are good fits now, these people are good fits later. Good fits now, get the Be Helpful campaign, and we're going to try to get them to convert. Good fit for later, they just live in our ecosystem until they become a good fit now. Ryan.
So for like a commodity-based business like we talked about before, insurance or mortgage,
This would work exceptionally well for that.
use a lead A lead magnet?
Exceptionally well, yes. I think be helpful. Because if they're even opting in for mortgage, they're like, no one watches mortgage content unless they're actually in that position, right?
So the be
I think this type of campaign, both ran with email campaign and ads, would be exceptionally well for you because of that sense of urgency.
So the be helpful over like a lead magnet. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
you'll see. He'll teach it, and
Okay.
you'll see how it connects the dots. But yeah, this is the ecosystem. And I know like we kind of sped through a lot of this, but my book has the structure for a power content video. And by the way, my book also has a free course that goes along with it. So if you click links inside my book, it will take you to a lot of the stuff that will explain. Like my book has scripts for this. My books have script for those 60-second videos. I just wrote a new book, by the way. It is called Kiss My ROAS, and it talks about the structure of the retargeting campaigns and has a script for each of those Hot 7 videos. So I'll make sure that everyone gets that. Yes. Oh yeah, box.
That was my signal for Juan.
You get this box instead.
My question is more logistical about the 100 conversations a day. And the fact that you're doing them in a week in your DMs, and you're doing it through private, so you're contacting them with Laurel, they're getting you. How are you keeping track? I mean, you've been doing this now since 2018. You have so many DMs in your Facebook Messenger, and so what is your process for? Obviously, now we're moving into good fit now, good fit later. For you, are you taking them, putting them in an Excel sheet? Are you putting them in a CRM? If Facebook implodes and goes down, all of that data, like where's that data? And how do you manage like how you go back to good fit later in the DMs if you're doing it on the personal? So give us a little structure there.
That is such a great question. I love that question so much. One, I'm not organized enough to do that. You guys would laugh. I actually do roulette in my messenger. I just do this and I'm like, oh, I'm going to follow up with these people today. But seriously though, I do that as just randomly. But here's where I do have organization is I always want to know, and Nick's going to show you guys how to bucket these people. I always want to know who are my 10 hottest leads and my 10 warmest leads every single week. And it's a very similar structure to bucketing, but I'm always aware. Now, before I was like looking at this, I'm like, man, I'm already doing this, but like this is a really good structure to do that. But I'm also keeping my eyes on the people inside the $7 program, because the way that they articulate their questions and attend the calls, I know if they're a good fit now or a good fit later just based on those things. But typically based on the conversations I have in Messenger. So I do keep a list, but it's on my whiteboard.
I actually love the Russian roulette concept. I do a 10 by 10 follow-up series, like 10 follow-ups by 10 a.m., and that's exactly how I do it.
I freaking love that. 10 follow-up. Everyone write that down right now. 10 follow-ups before 10 a.m.
By 10 a.m.
I love that so much.
And you don't overcomplicate it.
That might be the one thing that someone in this room needed to hear that's going to make all the difference next week. I promise you, someone in this room, that will make all the difference.
Some days it's just like, whose birthday is it? Right? It's on Facebook.
That's how
or
I
LinkedIn.
unfriend people.
But I send. Is it? You wouldn't unfriend me. I'm going to send you a video message and like tell you that you're amazing, that you're going to have a great, abundant year, and I'm a little woo.
It's the only easy way to sort people on Facebook.
A follow-up with how you're responding on your personal page, because I think in this case, your business page is your name, so it matches. So in my case, where it's different, like it's Clara Koo personal, but Conquer the Digital Empire is the business. Is that part of, I guess we work that into response, like, hey, it's Clara from name of my business page.
Allegiance Capital.
Because they're like, who the hell is Clara?
As a matter of fact, so someone asked about a chat bot a while ago, this guy over here. I'm at a point now where I am using one on Instagram because I need some friction points, because I get too many damn conversations now. But here's the thing, I allegiance capital the heck out of that chatbot, and I let them know, hey, I am Lbot, Laurel's chatbot assistant, and I'm messaging you because you asked for this guide to doing XYZ. I promise that Laurel will actually personally respond to you if you answer the following question. And I always do come back and answer those questions. But it's taking, but I would not recommend that unless you're having too many conversations.
And the other part too is it's more of an issue on Instagram because there's private accounts. And I've had people comment, but I can't message them because it's a private account. Is that where I should follow them back and then send them the message?
Yes, in the very beginning, absolutely. So I also, whenever I'm responding to people, I will say, hey, I can't message you, probably because you're not following me. So if you follow me, respond to this comment and I'll send you the thing. But I will say this, once you run this ecosystem and people are pretty aware of like the rules of Instagram and stuff, they will be followers of you already. And so you'll always be able to message them. But it takes time, right? In the very beginning, like I said, 40% you'll be able to respond to. 60% of your leads, if they don't know you or anything, they won't respond, or you just won't be able to send them a message.
But if I am, because I'm thinking of at least 5 where they're private, I could just reply to their original comment saying, oh, if you follow me here, I'll be able to send it.
Say, hey, I'm trying to give you the value bomb, but it's not letting me. Well, I'm trying to give you, like he said, allegiance capital, right? Hey, I'm commenting back to you because I just sent you a message, but it's not going through, and I think it's because of XYZ. So if you do XYZ, I can get you that value bomb.
Thank you.
Yep.
Something just clicked for me.
And by the way, he's been with me since the very beginning of LOL, so
I was gonna say,
takes time. It takes time sometimes to learn this.
How long have I been hanging around you, Laurel? And
he was one of my very first LOL students.
And I'm still here.
And he's still in the program.
And so, Laurel, you know this, that like I've been, the one part of the ecosystem I've been good at implementing is the power content. I've been pretty awful at the right-hand side. Something you said that just really landed is that the ecosystem sits around the like funnel / sales mechanism, because even though I have a broken ass, you know, I'm succeeding in spite of myself 100%. We talked about that yesterday. Like what's really driving my sales is like the conversations I have with the therapists who refer their clients to me, and then the actual clients themselves. And I've just been doing this. I never realized that I was doing this, but when I get that like email saying like, or when I'm forwarded an email from a, you know, like therapists go on listservs and like, hey, I'm looking for a career coach, or hey, I'm looking for a psychiatrist, or whoever. I get past those emails a lot. And so when I reply, I'm like, you know, ask a couple questions, or if there's enough context in the request, I'll just be like, hey, here's a video that might help your client, and I just drop a link to my power content that happens to be the Facebook link, so I can retarget them.
Yep, you've learned well.
And even though I don't have like a, you know, add to a messenger thing, or like I haven't figured out how to make that work to cold audience, I have noticed that since I've started doing that, the clients who come through the referral are like, they just come in. And like when I finally do talk to them, because sometimes it takes like a year between when the referral is made and when they finally get in touch with me. The conversation is usually like 20 minutes, and when can I start?
Simple, like, and you know, after lunch, we're gonna go through the messenger framework, and then we're gonna revisit the funnel thing that Nick taught earlier about clarity, certainty, and trust. And I'm literally gonna show you guys how to shorten the time that you give clarity and certainty to a client so that you can have all of that in one messenger conversation. And so that's going to be for after lunch, but yeah, it's that's why I haven't had to take a phone call for anything. Like, we're selling Success Circle, you know, without calls. Like, this is the first time we've talked to people in person, honestly, about Success Circle. I don't sell people into Lean on Laurel over a phone call, haven't in 4 years. Nick sells $40,000 stuff in Messenger without a phone call. So it is possible if you use the framework, but you have to have everything in place. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, until maybe like yesterday morning, I was like, oh man, my ecosystem isn't working.
Your ecosystem?
I mean,
it is. It's working.
I can't track it. Because
yeah.
I can't attribute, you know.
So I will say this. So right now, I forgot to turn my ads off for my $7 program because it was on a wait list for a while, and then Onyx was doing a thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna open the doors for it so that people can do Onyx FTC training. By the way, if you have not watched that, it's on my YouTube channel. You absolutely should, because the FTC is cracking down on a lot of offers, and so you guys should watch this. But one of the things that I noticed, and I hope that this like really brings this home. So my program was on a wait list, and I turned off all of my conversion ads. So there's no ad that is promoting my $7 program, right? And so Nick and I built this amazing waitlist funnel. And Nick, we were getting how many people opting in a day? Like a shit ton of people opting in. Keep in mind, there is no ads running to the $7 program. I just have power content running. But yet we're still getting sales into the $7 program through the waitlist funnel. So I wanted that to sink in. Like, I stopped my conversion ads, and flow of clients still continued to come in through that page. That's the power of the ecosystem, right? There's nowhere that people had to manually type in adcoachingfor7.com, and the only way that they would even know to do that is by somehow watching my power content and going and finding a link somewhere to my program. So it's very powerful, like, and it's very, like, the Facebook Ads Manager is very, very dangerous sometimes to look at. Nick calls it frequency of exposure, because, and it's funny, I have taught this at several high-end masterminds that some of the best who run like 6-figure, 7-figure ad accounts, I tell them that, and they're like, that makes sense. I tell them the more that I look at my ads manager, the worse my ads do. And they always tell me, they're like, oh my God, I tried your thing where you just ignore your ads and I got more sales. And I'm like, funny how that happens, right? Because ads do this, right? And a lot of you guys judge your ads based on whenever it's at its low, but that's just the way that Facebook ads are. It's like this. But YouTube ads are the same way. Like, it doesn't matter the platform, right? So thank you for that.
Hey, I wonder if I should treat my work like 2 separate businesses, because there are the people who need to just get recertified.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mid-ticket. That's like, we have 450 people paying $95 a month just to get recertified. But then there's my business mentorship, which the people have different needs, and not.
But they're the same people, right?
They're the same people.
So you shouldn't separate.
Not everyone who wants to get certified has a business.
Right.
Okay.
But that's okay. They still are the same audience. You might just want to segment them from the top so that you can. And that's why I love this strategy, because you can literally segment your audience from the people who just want to get certified from the people who actually want to build their business.
Do you think I should have a ecosystem like the 6 ads, phase 1 for just the people who want to get recertified, and then a second one for just
I would have all one ecosystem and just split the hot 7, split the way that you do ads middle of funnel.
Okay.
I don't think you should split any. I think that would be overcomplicating it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you don't need like a lot of, like, sometimes you could just mix and match your ads. It's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Can you speak a little bit more into how you would do that? Because I do have ad agency clients that I want to run ads to, and I have ads I want to run to consulting side. And so how would
They're the same audience. I would not.
The same audience, yeah. So how, can you explain? I know it's probably like mediocre, but can you explain?
No,
okay.
That's actually perfect. So some of my best agency clients came through my $7 program.
Do you know how easy it would be right now
for her to open an agency and fill it up, and she's running no ads for agency clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
It's because it's all the same offer, right?
Yeah.
Whether I do your ads, I do them with you, or you do them yourself. It's the same offer. It's just the vehicle that I'm delivering the offer and the container is changing, but the offer is still the same.
Okay.
I'm going to help you launch your ads.
That makes sense.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like one of your power content pieces? I'm sorry, I didn't know the box.
No.
Just something was clicking and you said it. Because we can retarget based on the video that they watched, one piece of power content could be someone like more in the beginning part of the journey, and then the other piece of power content is for the mature part of the journey who wants to work with you one-on-one eventually. So it could be something like that.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Remember how yesterday I told you my floor are people who have a validated offer, and my ceiling is the people who are getting 2 to 3 times their return on ad spend on a VSL funnel? Yes. So these 2 videos focus on fixing a VSL funnel. This video right here teaches them the fast funnel that allows them to get clients without running a funnel. So it makes it easy to segment. This one's based on this dead ad, it's called this $5 ad revives a dead webinar. And this one is how to get 30 to 40x return on ad spend on a VSL funnel. So you see how both of these talk directly to certain pain points, a dead webinar funnel and increasing the ROAS, where here I'm going to teach you a $5 ad that you can run to get clients without using a funnel.
That makes so much more sense, because to those who are asking the question, I have the same thing. It's like, well, I still want to have clients for my agency, but I also want like to coach people. And I thought I would have to, I don't know, make a different page, blah, and hell no.
Everyone thinks that they need all these different ecosystems to sell all these things. I think you and I had even talked about that, because she's got a 3-tier offer. I'm like, it's all the same ecosystem, because they all graduate into each other. I like to look at the ecosystem part as creating your ideal client, and then I like to look at this as like selling your ideal client, right? This is building the conveyor belt. This is just closing the people who are ready to buy now, just giving them an avenue to be closed right now.
You just have to watch your floor, because that was the mistake I was making. I was not watching my floor, and I was attracting wrong people to my ecosystem.
Yep, 100%. You always have to watch your floor, and that's honestly the main mistake. You know where I see that happen the most is in the fitness space. People who are just trying to help people lose weight, and they get a whole bunch of unqualified leads. But if people in the fitness space would identify this is a minimum requirement that it takes for me to work with this type of person, and usually it's a certain avatar, they would get better quality leads. But whenever you have open, broad weight loss offers, that's where you get a lot of tire kickers who won't really do the work. They're just looking for easy fixes. But if you're targeting someone who wants to increase their performance and energy because they're an entrepreneur who's not able to make it through their workday, that's a completely different quality person than someone who's just trying to lose 10 pounds in 7 days.
Can you actually talk more about like how you define the floor, or how you set the floor?
Oh, it's easy. Think about the one client that you took on that you were like, I should have never taken this client on. That's your floor.
No, I don't mean like how to decide what the floor is. I mean like how do you communicate or polarize them out through the.
You have to make sure that exercise that I showed you guys yesterday talks to the problems that only people above the floor will have. Right? Like even Crystal's was a really great example when they were like talking about how they went to an event, and when they said, we'll be your fractional CMO, and everyone all of a sudden gravitated towards them. That's an offer that only people who would want that would actually respond to, and anyone who's getting started in marketing would never watch that video, because they probably wouldn't even know what a fractional CMO is. So you want to be polarizing in your language. So if you don't want to attract, if you want to attract really smart people, talk really smart.
Example, I will help you launch your ads.
What do we know about them? They probably have no ads. I will help you fix your ads. What do we know about them? They have ads and pain. But we never say this kind of person necessarily.
Yeah, right. Because like most of my call out is like, if you're only getting 2 to 3 times your return on ad spend, and every time you try to raise the budget it goes up, that's literally always my call out. Because what do I know about those people? They're already making money, so they have money, but that's a very sophisticated hook to only attract a sophisticated person who's trying to scale, but they can't without diminished returns. And then I start using that kind of language. People who've never ran ads, they are like, what the hell is diminished returns? And they immediately stop watching because I made them feel stupid.
One of the reasons that's really hard is, and I'm just tying this together with some other stuff she said, so you can just see it. It's like once you see inside the matrix, it's a lot easier to navigate the matrix. People get really stuck on metrics, and if somebody that is really stuck on metrics, especially like a very specific metric, I won't work with them because they're gonna optimize themselves right out of profitability every time. But the struggle is, like what Laurel's saying, if you're looking at cost per click, cost per video view right up front, and you optimize for that, you're gonna lower your floor. You'll get cheaper clicks. And so that's the battle, is everybody wants to lower the cost. And because they don't know their floor, they don't have that like bumper in place, they will optimize that cost per click right down to making no money.
It happens all the time. Like people in the $7 program will be like, I just lowered my cost per click from going from a conversion ad to a traffic campaign. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You just ruined your retargeting audience. I never want to like, it's funny, I did a video the other day and it was, this is why I hate when my videos go viral. Why do you guys think I hate when my videos go viral? It screws up my retargeting audiences. That's why all these YouTube people, they're like, your video is only getting 1,000. I was like, yeah, but if you look at the ratio per subscriber and my watch time, it's freaking phenomenal. Like Atiba looked at my YouTube channel and he's like, holy crap, like you only have like 7,000 subscribers, but your watch time is like, I was like, because I use YouTube as a nurture, I don't use it as a, I'm gonna go viral. I hate when my stuff goes viral. As a matter of fact, Alex Hormozy just actually said that, have you guys noticed like a couple of months ago, Alex was doing all of these really broad, because all these experts kept telling him, just like they tell me, you keep needing to go broader in your messaging if you wanna grow your channel. But what he found out very quickly was people watching him do protein and all this other stuff was attracting a whole bunch of people who would never buy into acquisition. They would his conversions went down, his views went up, but he pretty much wrecked a lot of his retargeting audiences based on, you know, just viral videos. So I hate when my videos go viral because I don't want my videos to go viral. I love nurturing the audience that I've built, and so that's why you'll never see me do anything that'll make my videos go viral, because I don't want that. It'll cause a lot of work for me. Does that make sense? Any other questions? I know
relate to that going viral thing.
Yeah.
I hired some YouTube editors and they nearly blew up my business because they just attracted.
Oh my God, and it's trolls, y'all. Like when videos go viral, it attracts trolls. Like I hate it. Like it's so annoying, but it's fun. It's funny. Like so, Michelle. So when I spoke at Michelle's event in June in Naples, I did a story that I'm actually going to tell you guys after lunch because it goes really perfectly with this. But it's a story from the TV show How I Met Your Mother, and it's a perfect diagram of how you can actually convert someone from believing you're a scammer into literally someone pulling out your credit card. And it was just that clip that y'all had pulled. So Michelle's editor clipped me a whole bunch of beautiful Reels videos. And that one went viral. And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, because I was looking at my shorts and I'm like, I never get above like 1,000 views on my shorts. It's just, that's where my channel is right now. And this one had like 6,500 views. And I'm like, fuck, what was this video about? And I was like, oh. But it was all of these people being like, you are ripping off How I Met Your Mother. It was because the editor, we didn't put in that I was using that show as an example of how to do that. They thought I was telling a false story about how I converted a client. And so without that context, all of the trolls came out and they're like, this is a story from How I Met Your Mother and all of that. And I'm like, well, and so I had to go back in the comments and be like, well, here's the context behind this video. And they're like, well, that wasn't shown. I was like, I get it. And I just hate that shit, you know? But that's just a really good example of how, like, you know, one, context matters, and two, just having to deal with trolls at a certain level. But I make more money with my YouTube channel than most people who like have hundreds of thousands of followers. Yeah. It's just the quality, about the quality.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the YouTube channel. Box, sorry. I'm terrible about that. Okay. So we have a podcast that distributes audio and on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And I want to run ads to that as just power content. Where I'm stuck.
I wouldn't run it as power content. I'd
Okay.
actually run it as your retargeting.
Okay.
Because here's why. Because these need to be strategically a formula in
Got it.
place.
Yeah.
And so you want to use, by the way, podcast episodes work really amazing for retargeting. So that same client that I was talking about a while ago, the infertility coach, she has a podcast. And what we did was we created UTMs in those specific podcast episodes to book a call.
Mm-hmm.
And guess which one of her podcast episodes booked the most calls? The ones that we were running as ads. And so what I did with her podcast was, you see this Hot 7? I had a Hot 7 that I had her strategically create with scripted videos, but I also created a second Hot 7 campaign, a traffic campaign that literally ran her videos straight to iTunes.
Oh, okay.
With those episodes that were, and I only ran it on mobile, and I only ran it to Apple devices. So when they actually clicked on the ad, it opened up her podcast episode in iTunes.
Okay.
And we were able to, like I said, we weren't able to know exactly if the Facebook ads booked those calls, but we did know those episodes booked the calls. So what can we assume? That it actually came from the Facebook ads.
So my question is, do we run ads to the YouTube channel, or do we upload it to Facebook and run it native?
Nope. I would do it to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because there's a thing. You always want to cross-pollinate your audience, right? Someone asked me the question a while ago, what happens if your Facebook ad account gets shut down? Cool. I'll just turn up the budget on my YouTube ads. Same audience, because I've been cross-pollinating them. Why do you guys think I have because everyone always loves to tell me, God, your course would be so much prettier if you didn't use YouTube videos, but why do I use YouTube videos? I'm literally training the YouTube algorithm to go find people who are watching longer portions of my video. So YouTube delivers me people who are the right fit for my videos.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I love data. I don't care about how ugly things are. I always want the data.
Ugly usually works better.
Ugly always works better. Oh my God. Me and Dan Henry crank out so many ugly ads for his stuff, and people are like, I'm like, dude, they work so well. Dan's always like, will you make me some more ugly ads? Yes. And you can you guys tell which Dan Henry ads are that I create versus the ones that he creates? Like, they have my stamp all over them.
Is it because it just feels more real and it's not so curated?
Well, I think they've just got the Laurel look to them, especially the static image ads. Like you can look at them and be like, ooh, that looks like an ad Laurel would have ran for her $7 program, because it's got the big blocky neon like letters and stuff. So a lot of people will be like, I bet Laurel ran this ad.
Like my best performing videos are an iPhone, no mic.
Yep, 100%.
Gross.
Oh, all of us who worked in television cringe to hear that shit.
Yeah. It's so
all of my nice fancy equipment is in the corner of my office, and I shoot almost all my videos from an iPhone 6.
I can speak to the ugly ad stuff, because that's what we've been doing for my audience forever.
Like, I mean, Jared, you know, whenever we first set up your ads, they're garbage. Like, but I tell my students, the ugly actually stops the scroll.
Yeah.
And people are actually just like, is this a real business kind of thing? Like, and they click on it and it works.
Yep, and there's a fine line to that too, because a lot of people, I'll have a couple of students and they're like, my click-through rate on this ad is amazing. I'm like, yeah, because you used a meme from Friends. So you also have to be careful, right? Because you don't want people to stop the scroll if they're not your ideal client. So you have to equally find that fine balance between getting someone's attention versus getting someone's attention just for the sake of getting someone's attention. Right? So, and yes, I shoot with an iPhone 6, and how many of you guys have seen my ad where I'm like, if you're worried about shooting, it's an objection that people get from, hey, I don't want to do videos. I'm like, dude, this is a dinosaur iPhone 6. I shoot most of my ads from this and make a ton of money. Click the link below and I'll show you how. Like, that's literally one of my ads. And it converts really, really well. Why? You can relate to it, yeah, and it meets an objection that people think they have to have the perfect equipment.
Without saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions before we break for lunch? And then we're going to come back, do some cash now campaigns. And oh, can you toss that to Crystal over there? Striped shirt.
Oh boy. You ready?
You can do it. Oh, Chris, I wanted to see you try it.
God bless. So, so I guess I'm struggling with this reconciling, and you know my background, right? So
yep.
I really struggle with the selling the dream, the aesthetic, the, you know, that perfect life, right? Like I'm starting a business to make money so I can do this in Bali.
Why are you trying to sell the perfect life? Everyone knows that's not real.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a question for my therapist, I guess, but
yeah.
There's been a lot of that the past 48 hours. When we were talking about like that dream outcome, like you want this, therefore we have to do X, Y, Z. I struggle with reconciling making things look good, which is just my nature as a designer, to...
That's the problem right there. You're trying to make it look like a life that no one like really has. Like it's unrealistic. So I think you have to find the balance between, yes, I have this now, but it always wasn't like this. This is honestly the shit that I have to deal with, but I'm still able to do X, Y, Z, because here's the thing. If you can show that you have a lot of the problems that, like a while ago, I did it with you guys, right? I was like, I am you. I buy the stupid $27, right? When Nick was explaining, I was like, I am you, but here's how I've been able to overcome this. More people trust me because I let you guys in on the reality of what it is. And I think if you can find that balance, you're gonna start to love actually putting out the content because it's real.
So it's like allegiance capital for your marketing.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely.
There's no allegiance capital for marketing.
Allegiance capital for relationship. There's just allegiance capital.
I'm connected.
Yeah.
I always tell Christina, because I'll pick on Christina a little bit because I love her so much. But like Christina will tell me, she'll be like, hey, go get blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Allegiance Capital, I don't know where it is. My mind is full of shit. Like, but she does it all the time. I'm like, I can't make this decision. Where is it? And I'm like, and I'll just look at her and I'll say Allegiance Capital. And she's like, it's on the counter. I'm like, we've got 5 counters in the house. Which counter? Like I need to know, but you know, so it works in all kinds of but we have that shared language. I'll be like, Allegiance Capital.
I have maybe a problem you all will stumble across. I have a company I work for. I've been running Laurel's ecosystem for the past 8 months. I've got 28,000 people sitting in my warm bucket.
For your business or the Great Hearts?
The school.
The school?
So we have schools, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Florida. Open enrollment begins in November. So all this warm audience, right? I've been building. Now, due to state funding, et cetera, I have no budget.
Ooh, how much did they knock you down to?
0.
Oh.
So what do I do now?
Fuck.
Because otherwise I'm just going in a silo, right? Where it's talking to the same people.
How good is your engagement without running ads?
10%, maybe.
That's still good because 8% is because one of the things that I have noticed is my organic on my business page does better now than my organic on my profile page, and I noticed that by the amount of like content that I've been putting out, and so that's why I asked that question. Because it's important to know like how, so the way that you need to figure out is like how can we get some more 2-steps going so that as more people engage you can reach more of that audience. But is there any way that you can go to your boss and be like, look, even if it's just $5 a day per school, that's only like $150 a month per school. They're spending money somewhere. Like there has to be some marketing budget that can be reallocated to ads. Because look how well you did with enrollment last year.
I know. But yeah, I don't know if there's a solution for when you build something and then it just gets taken out from under you.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a list, like a physical list too?
We do.
Yeah.
And we'll work that through email, but
still, yeah. No, that sucks. I would go to the school and be like, look, I need $150, just $150 per school. That's it. And show them the numbers, because last year, and she's actually one of my favorite like case studies, because people are always like, well, Facebook ads, where your ecosystem work for me. I'm like, dude, she's using it to enroll people into a private school. As long as you stay in front of your audience, that's all my ecosystem is, right? Show up people in ads, show them more ads. That's really the strategy, right? I would just go and ask them, $5 a day. They're a private school. They can afford that. Be like, what are we spending money on Sharpies every they're probably spending on supplies or something where like you can help them like.
Students can bring their own toilet paper.
And they didn't know.
Reallocate that.
That's a tough one because once you like start running like, I just hate that for you.
Yeah, me too.
I do. Like I hate that. I hate like, and that's one reason why you have your own business now, right? Like so that you can build it and not have to deal with the bullshit of ignorant people who don't know how advertising works. But yet they're gonna fuss at you whenever you don't produce results.
Writer note, anybody?
That's a good lesson though for everyone in the room, right? You run ads, you got to keep going, even if it's just $1 a day, like something. You got to stay in front of those people.
This is more of a very specific question on that. So I run ads nationally for, like, we worked with a lot of contractors over the last couple of years. It's kind of been a growing vertical randomly.
Contractors, yep.
Yeah, great. I did I do the in-person events for local for my city, which is great. I've never run ads to it yet.
Do you have to?
What?
Do you have to?
I don't feel like I have to. I'm curious if it would make sense to, simply for the fact of it being more known, because it's just been word of mouth stuff.
100%.
Other than.
You want to know how I do it?
Yeah.
In Biloxi? Power content. Facebook event created with my business page, $5 a day to the people who are watching this. That's it.
Okay.
Facebook event, because here's the thing, you can run ads to a Facebook event that's created with a business page, and it'll optimize for that. And that's an on-platform action, so it actually tracks it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can retarget people who have engaged with that event.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't given it much attention other than the fact that it's kind of just been goodwill since May. So okay.
That's what I did for the Biloxi Chamber event that I did. I ran power content in Biloxi and then retargeted everyone to the event.
I got a question with YouTube on long form content. Do you ever say anything in the middle or at the end about looking at the description?
No.
No.
You should though.
Okay. I do.
I say that because I do things so imperfectly and it still works.
Yeah, I feel that. We mostly just do that on our podcast. Though. It's like check out the free stuff we have in the description.
I even forget on my podcast episodes to even even do anything, and I think people think it's like, oh well, and I'm like, no, I just forgot.
Yeah.
But then I think people like that too because it's like subliminally like, oh, she's not trying to sell me. Let me go see what she's got for sale.
Then they even know where.
Yeah, they know where to look. Like if I need something, I know where to look.
That's fair.
Yeah, but now my YouTube description, I set it up to where like every time I upload a video, the description's already there.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But oh yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff that I've been told that you can do. Like in the middle of the video, you can point to a video and be like, you can watch this video or this. I have no idea how to do that.
I learned that like 6 months ago.
Well, see, you know more than I do.
Still don't do it. Anybody else?
Any other questions before we break?
Hungry.
Awesome. Any closing before we go to lunch?
Yeah, before we go to lunch, I'm going to give you guys something
to think about. This is what I do at my events. Well, I don't plan anything. But I observe, and so here's what I encourage you to think about for lunch. And we'll come back, we'll show the Cash Now campaigns. Fastest path to cash. I'm listening to a lot of the questions and a lot of the dialogue, and I think it's worth zooming way out and recognizing all the ways you are competing against yourself. I'll give you a couple examples and just think about it. I had way back my brick and mortar. I had a brick and mortar. It was my first company, and it grew really, really fast. And nobody understood how we were doing it. Like we knocked down 8 walls over the course of a year we took a whole strip mall. It was a strip mall. We had one bay. We ended up with the whole thing, still on a wait list, all that stuff. And I walked in one day, and my employees, bless their hearts, that's what you say. That's like a southern, it means like fuck those guys, but yeah, bless their hearts. They'd put up they printed it out and framed it and put up these signs with all the information. And they were like, oh, Nick's gonna be so happy when he gets here. And I walked in, said, what the fuck are you doing? And I ripped them all down. And they're like, what are you doing? So why are you putting these up? Well, because people want this information and they can't find it, so they come talk to us and they have to ask us. Said, so you're eliminating conversations is what you're doing. And they're like, yeah, because they want the information. It's like 99% of the reason people buy from us is because of the way we talk to them. When you eliminate a conversation, you are asking someone to make a decision without talking to you, which is where your distinction should come through in dialogue, right? So I encourage you to look at all the ways, what can I automate that? What can we send them to a page? All the ways that you are trying to eliminate a conversation while simultaneously working really hard to get more conversations. You'll see it. You'll see it. So, if you want more conversations, stop doing the things to eliminate conversations. You'll be shocked how often you're doing it. Just stop working against yourself and you'll have more conversations. The second example is I had a client reach out, it's probably 2 years ago now. Can you connect me with someone that can just fix my website? It needs to look good. It needs to, and we went through all this stuff because like she was getting a lot of clients. It's like, why do you think you need a website? Well, because people probably see this and they don't think it's professional. It's like, I'm pretty sure you're trying to convince yourself you're legit because they don't care. So there's that was the first one. And then it was like, well, a couple weeks later, well, I got to fix this website. I'm like, shit, we're back on this again? Really? Well, yeah, somebody just reached out to me and said, I couldn't find any information on your website. So now she wants to put the information on the website. What would be the consequence of that?
They were not going to contact.
The person would never reach out to you. So you want to get rid of your inbound leads? So it's like little things like that where we want to zoom out and not do these things where it's like, and I hear it in some of the questions where I'm like, well, you're working against yourself. Stop doing that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I just think about what is the most immediate constraint? Need more conversations. Don't do anything that eliminates conversations. Everything, like, okay, I'm going to pay $5,000, get a website person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is that going to remove the constraint? No. And if we can just recognize that stuff, you get way more out of the work that we do. Does that make sense? Cool.
Real quick, so a couple moving parts now that the Genius team's back in the building. Mm-hmm. If you could please get your food and come eat it up here. They have a meeting that's going to be taking place in the next 20 minutes, so just come back up here to grab your food and just respect the space that they have down there in the main area, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. This is pretty much about it.
Ready, break!
Let's go! Everyone online, about an hour lunch, maybe less.